This week, we are going to be filling in our graphic organizer for our informative writing. And last week we filled in the introduction section. This week we're going to be filling in body paragraph 1, which is on early life. So you're going to be filling in this portion only about the early life of your topic. So looking at our assignment questions for this section, so over here, we need to be answering the questions of when was the person born, where was the person born, what was the person's family like, what was the person's childhood like? Where did the person go to school? What important early experiences did this person have? Now again, you don't have to answer all of these questions, but you should not be including any information that is not within this type of information. So please keep that in mind. Now, like last week, I have all 3 of my sources open. And last week, I really skimmed and scanned the top portion. This week, I had to dig a little bit deeper. So I had to read a little bit closer. This one is an interview, so I had to read through some of the questions, like this one, how old were you when you started writing? So I knew the questions that were going to be about his childhood, and so that's where I got my information from. In this one, again, I had to read a little bit deeper and into my source to find some of my information about his childhood. So in each of my sources, like I said, I read a little bit deeper, and I split my screen with this so that I could fill in my information. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the information that I have. So going back to the questions, when was the person born is the first question, and that's the first one that I answered. So over here on my graphic organizer, I have that he was born September 21st, 1947, and the second question is where was he born? So I put in Portland, Maine, and pretty much all of my sources said that. So I know that it's true. The second one is what was this person's family like? So I found out from my sources that his father abandoned his family when he was just a toddler, and his mother was a working mom, and they grew up very poor, so they did not have a lot of money. I also learned that they moved to Indiana and Connecticut, and then they ended up settling back in Maine, but not Portland, Maine. Now, going into kind of what was his childhood like and where did the person go to school, part of his childhood obviously is going to be what led to him being an author. So he started writing his own stories when he was 6 or 7. And in the interview, he actually talked about how he loved comic strips, and he would copy comic strips into stories, and then eventually around 6 or 7 started to write his own stories. So I know when I write my paper, I can add some more of those details, but I don't have to do it just yet. He also really loved movies and remembers seeing Bambi in theaters. So movies really had a big impact on him as a kid. Now, where did he go to school? I found out that he actually went to a one-room schoolhouse, and then once a week, a big green van, which they called the bookmobile, would come by, and they would get 3 books to read each. And he said that he read everything he could. He even read a lot of adult fiction at the age of 12, which probably wasn't super appropriate, but growing up really poor, he didn't have a ton of access to books. So the bookmobile was really where he got most of his reading. So these are important experiences from his childhood. So his early experiences of reading and the movies and the bookmobile and his one-room schoolhouse, those are really important to why he became an author, which is why I made sure to include that. So again, make sure that you are answering these questions only, and information about their early life in your body paragraph 1 that you are filling in. And when you're finished, you're going to turn it into the informative writing graphic organizer body paragraph 1 assignment.